LimeVibe ความแลกไว้ Lime ความแลกไว้ Vibe LimeVibe ความแลกไว้ Lime ความแลกไว้ Vibe LimeVibe โอ้ LimeVibe
Good night, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to another LimeVibe live podcast. It's 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the Bahamas, and I'm here with my beautiful co-host, Ms. Kimberly Ramkalawan. My name is Yori Kemp, and we welcome you back to another LimeVibe live podcast. How you doing tonight, Kim?
I am there, not 100%, but it's going to be a while before I am back normal.
Yeah, back to normal strength. I know. Well, we missed you on Monday, man. We really did miss you. I took it for as long as I could, yeah, but I'm glad you're back. Thank you for being back with us, Kim.
Yeah, I know. Monday, I was really looking forward. I had planned that we were going to talk about the EU CELAC conference that occurred over the weekend with our Caribbean leaders and Latin American leaders. You know, Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Ralph Gonsalves. He's the president of the CELAC, and he had quite some choice words for the EU leaders this week.
After they gave us 45 billion euros, he has choice words. He should be happy.
I mean, it's small. Honestly, I see that going mostly to Latin America. Looking at the projects that they've embarked on since the last few years, well, at least the last year or so, Latin America has mostly benefited. And Latin America is much bigger than the Caribbean. So we can get some small change compare. But he spoke a bit about reparations and EU leaders having to at least do something about it, because you're trying to forge relations. Yes, we have relations. Yes, he acknowledged the relations that between both regions. However, there is a need to do some healing and mending. France still has some say over Martinique and they and Haiti. And we see things happening in our territories. What I saw dominate, and it kind of aggravated me somewhat, I saw that Ghana's president, Irfan Ali, was stopped by European media, and all they can ask about what's his position on the Russia-Ukraine war. Yes, he said his neutral position, and that's right. But
why him? Why approach him?
I don't know. I mean, you're there at the EU CELAC conference. Don't you have other questions to ask our Caribbean leaders?
Yeah.
And
it seems weird. Russia-Ukraine conflict with the Guyanese president. That doesn't
exactly. And another thing that seemed Prime Minister Gonzalez had to put them in place and said, I know this is if y'all want to dominate this whole conference with Russia, Ukraine, but this is not the forum for this. The forum, there are more appropriate forums that you address these things with. We have not met for the last 8 years. So we ought to be speaking about other things. What is happening in our region is Haiti, and we need attention there. There are other wars happening, and Haiti is one of the wars that is happening within our region. To the EU, they see us as being a very peaceful zone, and they take that for granted. Oh, y'all don't have no problems. Y'all are small islanders. Y'all don't have any.
You see why they don't take us serious, Kim? Because instead of Ralph Gonzalez go there and ask about, investment money, big money, he wants to talk about reparations. I mean, reparations.
No, reparations was one of it. He spoke about the monies that y'all are putting forward in investment. He also spoke about the financial architecture. Obviously, everyone is talking a good bit about that. And he is right to speak about it, but he did speak about you all need to fix this whole financing system that has not affected us, that has affected us quite a great bit, where you all have always been on the benefiting end of everything. Compared to Caribbean islands.
And the trading system as well while you're at it. I mean, they were snookered with the GATS and the World Trade Organization, and now they're getting stuck up with the financial architecture as well. And every 6 months or so, the EU just creeps up more and takes a bit more of our sovereignty in the Caribbean, and that's a serious issue. And our Caribbean leaders just keep bending over to them. But like you said before, they have no choice because they need that $45 billion worth of European investment, and they need those European grants. And so, they're going to go along with it. But, I think we need to have some better conversation when we go to these forums, man.
Yes, he
I
spoke
believe.
about
Go ahead.
what he spoke about was the economic sanctions against some of his countries. He spoke also a bit about the weaponization of the banking and financial systems.
Yes.
He also spoke about the unlawful intervention in the affairs of countries.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And this is what they have done. We see what they've been doing with the correspondence banking. We're seeing what they're doing with the FATCA, and we're seeing they too have a role to play in those things. It has been affecting us a good bit.
Yeah, exactly.
And now going on to what's happening in Dominica. Dominica has now been denied its UK visas, right? They're saying it's because of security concerns, but the security concerns all stem from
the citizenship by investment. And it's a really, I don't want to say it's a corrupt regime, but it needs some tweaking, to say the very least about it, right? Because apparently anybody can get a visa in Dominica. Anybody. You could be, an arms dealer from Iran. Once you have enough money to pay for a visa, Roosevelt Scares regime will get you a visa. And I may be doing advertising for them right now, for every Tom, Dick, and Crook out there who wants to come to the Caribbean and get a visa, Yeah, apparently, they've had documentaries about the citizenship by investment regime in Dominica. Right before the last election, Al Jazeera did an in-depth review, an in-depth documentary on how bad the citizenship by investment regime is in Dominica. And they were pointing to several cabinet ministers who were involved in basically getting money for these passports. And so it's a really, really dodgy situation. You got companies like these are large citizenship by investment, by Range Investments. You have Henley Partners. You have a bunch of other these little boutique citizenship by investment firms that's making money hand over fist. That's selling passports to anybody. It's become a really, really dodgy place, man. Everybody's just being let in through the Caribbean, through these countries with this citizenship by investment. I believe it needs more international oversight. We're talking about FATCA, we're talking about FATF. We need to talk about the citizenship by investment. There's a lot of unscrupulous characters have been let in to the Caribbean as a result of that. I've witnessed some of that myself.
Yeah, it's being overly abused here in the region. And what happens now is that the average innocent citizen in the Caribbean is paying the price.
Yeah, indeed.
Right? We're paying the price. And the thing is, the Caribbean has long, been the region that has benefited from going single. I mean, the Windrush generation comes from us.
Yeah.
From all islands, from our region.
Yep.
And we have a good bit of our relatives and a good bit of, the diaspora out there that we benefit from. They send monies, remittances come to the region.
Yeah.
Right? And for this to be cut off, I mean, Dominica joins with Cuba, Dominican Republic, Honduras, and Vanuatu, those Jamaica as well, and being put on a no visa. You need a visa.
And Jamaica and the UK, they're like that. I mean,
yes,
has long since pledged their support for Jamaica. So they're letting Jamaicans, need a visa. I'll show you how strict the UK is getting with all these people just traipsing back and forth through their country. Before we go any more further, Kim, like, share, and subscribe to the LimeVibe Live podcast. Please like, share, and subscribe to the LimeVibe Live podcast on our Facebook and YouTube page. It's LimeVibe 77 on Facebook and YouTube. That's LimeVibe 77 on Facebook and YouTube. And please like, share, and subscribe, and share this video with everybody that you can. Let them know that we're on air every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday nights at 8:30 p.m. So you can join us and you can enjoy the conversation. And also, there is a donate link inside the description. So please, whatever moves your heart to give to the LimeVibe Live podcast for Kimberly and myself, we would greatly appreciate it. So yeah, so that's business of the way, Kim. So yeah, we were talking about the citizenship by investment program. Yeah.
The thing about it, the Commonwealth SG, who has been in our region twice in the last month or so,
Yeah.
She's also from Dominica.
Yeah, she is.
Right? Patricia Scotland.
Yes.
And
Baroness.
Baroness, yes. And it's really sad. I'm sorry to see this happen to Dominica. They're such usually quiet people.
Mm.
And
I
I
know.
don't see them as being, criminals, but they
Yeah.
have allowed unscrupulous characters to enter
See,
through
the
this.
thing is, Roosevelt Scare has been in power too long. That's the situation. And this happens with all regimes. He's been in power too long, and no one seems to want to be able to unseat him. And it's just a shame that, the cowardice that the opposition party has over there, the cowardice and the ignorance they have. For example, I invited the leader of the opposition, Francisca Joseph, the one who said she wasn't going to contest the last election. She stepped down from the last election because she didn't want to contest it because she didn't like the electoral process. And instead of working with the system she had and then lodging a complaint or getting a judge on her side to show you how powerless and weak she is, she decided to step away from the entire election process, disenfranchising was probably half of Dominica from the electoral process. That was so foolish. That was so foolish. Now you see why Roosevelt Scares is in power, right? You see that, right? Okay, so I invite her to the LimeVibe Live podcast to talk about the new electoral reforms that are being promoted by this report done by, I think it's Lord Byron was his name. Remember his name, Lord Byron? Yeah, Lord Byron. Yeah, and she backed off of me twice. First last week and the week before that. She didn't want to come on and talk. And the platform was open to her to talk about these things, man. It was open to her. She promised me she's going to come. Yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And she backed her the first time she had an air aid. The second time, she just didn't even respond to the message. So I say, oh, no, I see why you're a loser in Dominica. I see why, Roosevelt Scare has to run Dominica. Yeah. And she put out Lennox Linton before her. She put out Lennox Linton. So that shows you how weak they are, man. This is a feckless opposition over there. So Roosevelt Scared is the man. My former editor of the Caribbean News Now told me, something. Yeah, Roosevelt Scared may be grotesque. He may be a bit of a bastard sometimes. However, he's the best I've gotten Dominica, and I see with my own eyes. I really see with my own eyes. Roosevelt Scared is the best I got. So go ahead, Mrs. Scared. Just got to tighten up on that citizenship by investment program. Otherwise than that, you're doing a good job.
Yeah, I would hope that they get their act in order. I wouldn't like to see Dominican suffering because of that.
Nah. But still, though.
And it's also an eye opener to the rest of the region as well. Be careful of who you're allowing, allowing, quoting, and giving your brand, your name to.
Exactly.
Right?
You remember the Cambridge Analytica scandal?
What's that?
Remember the Cambridge Analytica scandal back in 2018? Yeah, that was linked to the citizenship by investment firms as well too. And they had a bunch of Russians traipsing in and out of the Caribbean. And it was amazing that we were tied up in that. It was amazing, man. So it just goes to show you how just one little passport that you think from some innocuous Iranian or some innocuous Ukrainian, could just blossom into an international scandal. And we just go in because we like the couple of bit of dollars in our pocket, the money in our pocket, we just going to be fall for anything. And it's stupid. And speaking about falling for anything, going back to this European Union, $45 billion worth of investment in in euros, we'll fall for that, because guess what? We have to ask ourselves, why is the European Union coming with $45 billion now? They said they want to have this counterbalance against China's investment, right? But guess what? Yeah, but think about this, though, Kim. Whose backyard are they in? They are in Latin America. They are in the United States' backyard. Why don't they go and give $45 billion to Belarus, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, where they can have a counterbalance against Russia and China and Eastern Europe? Why do they want to come to Latin America to have a counterbalance against China in America's backyard? Something's wrong with that. That's a BS line. Something's dead wrong with that. Because I think they want to just give us this money. They want to hold us hostage. So when they come back now, they can pull some of the money back and say, hey, we need you to do certain things in your financial services sector. We need you to put in place some anti-money laundering bars and some other little challenges. I shouldn't say challenge, some other little criteria, so that they could, have something over our heads. It's $45 billion that they just pull back and give to us when they feel like. You got to be careful when we sign these things with these people, I have a distrust for the Africans, and I have a big distrust for the Europeans when it comes down to dealing with money.
Yeah. This whole thing that they signed, as I said, most of it will be going to Latin America because it really falls under an agreement that they signed back in 2019, Mercosur agreement, which is basically with I think Uruguay, Paraguay, Argentina, and Brazil.
Yeah, Mercosur is the biggest trade block in Latin America, actually.
Right.
Yeah.
So they have that trade agreement there, and they are the ones who are really going to benefit.
Mm-hmm.
This
Yeah.
45 billion euros stems from that. And I don't really see us small islanders really getting anything from it.
No, I think we may get a piece. The same thing we always was getting, maybe added plus. You know, those
200,000.
yeah, 300 million probably. I think out
You
of
know
4
what?
billion,
Well,
we'll
that
get a
would be,
billion split.
I see it as very little because we have so many islands here. I know that they've been pushing a lot of
For the
agriculture.
whole thing, Kim.
What's that? No, I don't want the whole thing.
kind of
I'm
green.
just thinking when you've got to share that pie,
Yeah.
it's gonna come out to a sliver.
I say, Kim, you're a beast. Kim wants the whole thing. Wow.
No, all leaders can't be prudent with those things, to be honest.
Absolutely not. And you're preaching to the choir, Kim. You're preaching to the
But
choir. You know?
here in Trinidad, I've seen where they've put the money towards the cocoa industry, revitalizing of the cocoa industry, because our chocolate, the Trinitario chocolate, is quite vital to their chocolate industry in Europe, right? A lot of the French and Italians, even England. Well, England is no longer part of the EU, but they utilize a good bit of our Trinidadian cocoa because it's that high quality. So they've been investing in that at least, but it's not that much. It's usually under €1 million. It's usually a few 100,000, if so much. And
Gotcha.
for projects, really projects like that they're doing with the coffee, and we're actually seeing the benefits because we're seeing a revitalization of the cocoa industry. We're seeing cocoa plantations come back up and running by farmers, and that's really something really good to me because I know the quality of our chocolates here. Yeah,
that's good. But just to draw a contrast again, though, Kim, jumping from one thing to the next, you know, like the jack in the box I am, right? Now you saw the European Union come with $45 billion, right? 45 billion euros, which is roughly about 50 million US dollars, right? 50 billion US dollars.
Right.
And we saw 2 weeks before that, China come with $20 billion just for Honduras alone for a railway. like the railway is going to actually work from China to Honduras. But you even see before that, you see the United States coming $100 billion for the Caribbean, for all the Caribbean. Now, tell me who's joking here. Who's really joking out of this entire group right here, right? Who's really joking? Isn't it the United States? This is their backyard. And you have the European Union dancing in here, giving out $45 billion at a whim. You know,
America,
America,
I think it's America. They see us as also being docile.
I know.
And I think they already have their hand over the Caribbean. Latin America is somewhere they've got to be careful with. And whatever was given during Kamala Harris's visit to our shores was for the islands, CARICOM, right?
Yep.
And they know they have their base in Puerto Rico if need be. They have the U.S. Virgin Islands. They have their hands and they have their facilities here in our region, no matter what. So it's not going to take much to really come in. They've always had their eyes and ears glued to us. They can enter our shores in the snap of a finger if need be.
They should help with money, though. They should help with money, though. They should help with money. $100 billion is not going to cut it for the Caribbean.
I am always wary about these big loans, these big donations that seem so generous from these large countries. I know that all leaders have been clamoring quite a good bit for it, especially with climate change at the fore lately. Climate change has been at the top of the agenda because we're at the brutal end of it because our islands are suffering with damaging coastlines and everything like that. We're dealing with disastrous hurricanes, but I'm always cautious with these monies coming toward us because I feel as though it's always signing a deal with the devil.
There you go, Kim.
And I've always been wary. Okay, what are we exchanging? What part of our soul do you require of us?
Exactly.
With the agenda happening lately in America, we see the guns, we see their lifestyle changes, everything. I don't want it to be shoved down my throat. We have our own freedoms here. We have our own liberty and choices, and that we enjoy as Caribbean islanders. And I don't take it for granted.
Yeah. They want to control these islands when these islands need to be free, and that's part of their charm, right?
Right.
So, you know,
so while most
I can
people
tell you right now, most likely on the United States agenda with this money is the homosexual agenda, you know, the gay rights. You know, for some reason that features prominently in their lifestyle. I don't know why. That's, you know, someone's personal choice features so highly in U.S. policy making decisions, but
yeah,
it does, and it's a bit
gone up to the Supreme Court level.
Yeah. And it features so prominently in their political life. Like it dominates everything that they do. Anyone who has, did you see that the Jamaica they had rejected a U.S. nominee for ambassador? Yeah, because the person was openly transgender, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're gonna see a trickle down effect on Jamaica.
Yeah. Don't send no sissies to Jamaica for sure. Don't send no sissies to Jamaica. That's cold-blooded though. You know, Jamaica's letting you know straight up. But you know, they should know better than that. You know, I think America knew better. They meant to send that woman there. That person.
Yes. That's their first. Let's push this button. Let's see how far we can get.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
They know exactly what they're doing.
It's trying to break your will.
I am always cautious about this, and I don't understand why they need to insist. Okay, we're very tolerant people. We don't really care, right? We just don't force us to say, "Hey, they, them." That's crazy talk.
That's your argument in your country. You know, that they and them and he, she, and the LGBT. That is an argument for the United States. Don't bring it to Africa for sure, and don't bring it to the Caribbean countries that don't want it. You know. Some are tolerant, like how you say, but some just don't want to go that far with that. It's not a big issue here. It really isn't. And that's just really how it is. I mean, you may think it's a big issue to you. That's fine. But, you know, it's not a big issue here. And to be honest with you, if gays would come to the Caribbean, I don't think anything would happen to them, Kim.
No, nothing. I mean, they're here. We see them all the time. I really don't care. But that's your choice, sure, whatever.
Exactly.
Just don't come forcing me to do anything or say anything.
Exactly. Don't. I think that's forcing you to do something that you don't want to do. Not that you're saying.
And you have freedom of choice. And that's what most Americans have been. The Americans that are so-called against it, they just want freedom of choice. Okay, well, that goes against our beliefs. Just leave us. We don't want, to do it. You can always go to somebody who is secular and who isn't into it and let them do it. But you purposely target these entities and you go after them to get them out of business because you want,
break their will. Exactly. Can you imagine them sending a gay and a transgender person to be the ambassador in Afghanistan? You would see you I wonder how you think that would work out.
That's a war.
How would that work out?
I mean, that's one reason people usually think all Caribbean people want to migrate to America. Not really. I love my country. I know my country is not good with crime and everything, but I really don't want to be there. I will probably want to visit my relatives that are there. I have a good bit of relatives that migrated back in the 60s and 70s.
Now I want to shop at Walmart. I want to shop in Walmart and I want to go sightseeing,
Sightseeing. I mean, the waters in New York smell stink. And then Florida is full of gators.
Yeah. Somebody lived in Florida for 2.5 years. I hadn't seen one gator.
Really? That lucky you.
One alligator, not one alligator.
Those dinosaurs still live down there.
I know. And now they have a problem with pythons now too, rock pythons.
Yes, the Burmese pythons.
Burmese pythons, yes. Yeah.
It's because some people brought them illegally and they decided, let's release them.
Jesus Christ, human beings, I tell you.
So they've got reptile. Now they also have an issue with iguanas. They're telling people, oh, well, you have a bounty, you could take them. I'm sure Caribbean people are having a good time
hunting iguanas.
Trinis especially. Trinis love to curry an iguana. They say it's like chicken.
Yeah, that's a part of y'all diet where y'all guys eat them.
Yes, a lot of people eat those poor creatures. I see them hanging on a tree. Just like leave them. They're vegetarian. They're not doing anyone harm unless you go sticking your finger. They will bite your finger off though.
Yeah, I know. They're still lizards at the end of the day. But you know something? They're protected in the Bahamas, Like you can't take one out of the Bahamas and you can molest them on their private islands. You can't bother with the iguanas here. They're protected.
Yeah, I think it's the same in Turks and Caicos because they're free in Turks and Caicos.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
plentiful there, and a lot of Trinis go and it's like, oh God, these things are tempting us. We could be curry. I've never had it. I'm not a person to eat wild meat. I'm not a
Yeah.
person to eat meat outside of poultry. And but my husband and my relatives have often partaken of wild meat. They hunt,
Mm.
and they
That's how you
talk.
get sick.
What's that?
That's how you get sick, eating wild meat.
No, actually, no. The wild meat is actually hunted in the forest,
Mm.
and there's a special way of cleaning it.
Mm.
Some animals, because of their skin, they will always have that rank.
Mm.
So it's if you don't clean it good, you will get that. But
Mm.
most people prefer wild meat as it's a cleaner meat,
Mm.
right?
No, so you say. But in the
So
Cayman Islands,
because
in the Cayman.
the meat, these animals are really herbivores,
Mm.
and they're foraging and eating. They're nowhere near the pollution or eating anything produced. It's all natural,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
so they're good.
Yeah. Well, so you say, well, I'm not eating them, but in the Caymans, they cull them too, right? The green iguanas are a
Yeah,
menace because they're interfering with the blue iguanas in the Cayman Islands. And so
right.
every so often they have a green iguana cull in the Caymans. So you just hunt the green iguanas because they're an invasive species, actually.
Yeah, I know of the islands they are, but here in Trinidad, they're not so. If you see one in your yard, you consider yourself blessed. Oh wow, that's like, something amazing.
Mm,
You
mm.
consider yourself blessed to see one on your tree. And how they reach there, how did that guy reach there? What they're doing there. But
Has
yeah,
to be your national pet then.
no.
The national animal.
People actually, once they enter the yard, they turn them into pets.
Yeah, they're friendly creatures, they're not vicious.
Yeah. But I'm not taking any chances.
Yeah,
My
I know.
cats will go crazy. My cats will try to hunt them. My cats don't care. They
How
they
much cats you got, Kim?
we
How much
have
cats?
5.
5 cats. But I only see you taking picture of Miss Gray though.
No, there's actually, if you go on, I have a reel with the feral girls, and you'll see them.
Are
See,
they your cats or are they just stray cats that come to you now? Be honest. Be honest.
no,
Did you
they stray. They came to us, and we caught them and TNR them, which is trap due to release, and they live in our yard because they know they're safe.
Okay, so you call them your cats.
Yes, because they actually sleep in the laundry area,
Okay.
and they get fed in the laundry area morning and night. They get breakfast and dinner. And if something were to happen to them, I can still catch them and take them to the vet.
Okay. So essentially these cats chose you guys. You guys didn't choose these cats.
No, I blame it on the dogs because the dogs used to bark up a storm. Hey, it's mealtime, it's dinner time. We're getting food, we're getting food. And these animals started coming in the yard.
Ah, God, I got you. So the dogs alert them. Dogs talk too much. But you know something? I was thinking to myself, and this is just a random thought, right? Speaking about dogs barking, I always ask, why do the dogs always bark when I walk past them on my corner? And I said to myself, you know something? You're already so stupid. Would you really want a dog to come and say good morning to you? Would you really want a dog to come and say good morning? Of course not, right? So what else would a dog do aside from bark, right? Just a random thought, Kim. Sorry.
They wag if they know you and they're familiar, they wag their tail.
Yeah, I know, but they still bark. They still run their mouth. I can't walk past my corner in peace. The dogs have to alert everybody. Like, you guys don't know me yet. You guys don't know my scent. You know exactly. I live right 2 houses down. Why are you barking at me? But anyway,
When the cars are coming, the dogs can actually hear when my dad is coming home
oh
from
yeah,
probably coming off the highway onto the
yes,
stretch.
yes.
And they would move. Okay, he's here. And then as soon as they hit the corner of the street, "Rah, rah, 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 he's coming, he's coming." And they know everyone's car.
Yeah, they could smell. They could smell you. They could smell the exhaust. They know exactly how your car smells. But they left on it. They know.
They know I think they know the sound of the engine because
Yes.
dogs, their ears are very they have heightened hearing,
Yeah,
and I
exactly.
think they know that particular sound of the car engine
Yeah.
because I know I consider myself, I'm able to tell when my husband is near, I'm able to tell when my dad is near. I was like, okay, we could open the gate now, daddy's nearby. How you know your father is coming? It's like I could hear the car.
Yeah, they're
You
coming out.
swear it's the old raggedy car, but it's not. Something about it. I don't know.
Yeah, you know how it feels. You know exactly what it is. If you could tell, the dogs who have a heightened sense of awareness,
Exactly.
you know.
But
So
we're talking about money earlier, and we heard that our own Caribbean Development Bank is to invest 1.8 million into the region's creative
yes,
sector.
yes, that's a good move. That's a good move.
I think so. I mean, it speaks a good bit of seeing the need for diversification in our economies. And it also speaks to filling a void where we see that not much is being done to hold and keep that knowledge transfer. In Trinidad, we're seeing a lot of our mass men, the wire benders that make these extravagant large costumes, they're dying. We're seeing a lot of the mask makers and even the steel pan makers, they're dying. It there's a need, and I can imagine similar things like this happening across the region, where we aren't holding on to our cultural, what is our culture, and an investment like this speaks to developing the human resource capital in this sector. There's a need for something. There's also a need, and we've always spoken about this, to protect and really legally protect our intellectual property in these cultural arenas.
Yes.
So doing something like this, I'm hopeful that it's seen in a positive light and people really gravitate toward it.
Yeah, but they were kind of hazy on how much of that is going to be grant money, how much that's going to be loans and enabling environment loans. You know, how much of that, where the money is going to be spent. They haven't hashed that out. They just said they're putting aside $1.8 billion, but where
it's
exactly?
It's a good step in the right direction.
I think so. I think so. It needs to be fleshed a little bit more because guess what? Caribbean Magazine Plus and Arawak Media would definitely want some of that money because we have a lot of things that we do here in the Caribbean, and Central America. We have the short story competition. We have the poetry competition, and on Saturday we're having the Tropic Spin music and song competition. This is our second annual one. We have a good amount of songs left. I was kind of scared because I was thinking that we're coming closer to the deadline. Do we have enough songs? But guess what? On Monday, I got 3 songs that come in. Just whap, and the ad has stopped running, and people are interested. People are waiting on it, man. And so we need that support at Arawak Media and Caribbean Magazine Plus to continue on our program. And we want to do a lot more stuff too, Kim. We want to do the photography contest as well. We tried the speech contest, but people weren't really understanding what we wanted from them. Okay, that's fine. So we'll find some more inclusive and some more creative things to get people involved in the Caribbean. So that's what we're doing with Caribbean Magazine Plus and Arawak Media. So yeah, let's keep on the ball. Let's see if we get some of the $1.8 million for Caribbean Magazine Plus.
Yeah, I'm seeing that might fall under music and audiovisual production, perhaps.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we have a lot of literary persons there. We have a lot of poets. We have a lot of poets and a lot of writers. That needs to be exploited. These people need more than what we can give them.
So we're seeing it. They're going to do something.
Who's the next Derek Walcott? Who's the next Kwame McPherson?
Yeah. We really need to see some investment towards those areas and develop our resources. I mean, we aren't going to invest in, we can't expect the outside world to invest in us like that.
It's absolutely
because we need to own it.
Yes, indeed. And
we need to realize the importance of fostering its development and really begin to transfer this knowledge before it's totally it's already a dying art, but we don't want it to go to the grave and be lost forever.
Exactly. And don't forget the visual arts as well too, things like paintings and like arts and craft, that kind of stuff. I spoke to your compatriot Rubadiri Victor.
Yes,
he's been trying to save these costumes for the past several years now, and he's been trying to make it a national call, a national plea. People just aren't really taking it into consideration, but you need to save these large costumes, man. These are important pieces. That's like how we have here in Junkanoo in the Bahamas. We have the parade on Boxing Day and on New Year's Day, but after that, the costumes are wasted. Like you don't see them in other offices, and these are elaborate, crepe paper made costumes that are beautiful artistry, man. But we have them for a parade, 2 parades at most, and they just wasted it. You find them after the parade on the side of the road, just littering the side of the road.
Yeah, it's really sad because in Trinidad we have that. I mean, we see the costumes that come out, and it's really huge. It's larger than a room. It's sometimes longer than 12 feet, higher than 12 feet.
Wow.
And it takes good manpower. A few weeks ago, one of our guys actually died, and he was
Hi.
yeah, he I think he was one of the winning. He came in one of the top 10 this year, right? One of the artists, and to see him die, he was only, I think he was, if he was 67, he was old, if so much.
And still carrying those huge costumes?
He's still making, it was the Shabaka Thompson. He was just, yeah, he was still young. If he was 63, he was, and he was instrumental in I think the UTT Masters program. But he also was one of those that not only created costumes in Trinidad, but he helped costume building in Notting Hill, which is London's carnival.
Yeah.
He also helped Mass in St. Lucia, and I think that was his last thing, St. Lucia Mass, a few weeks ago, and he died right after that.
Wow.
I think he was also instrumental in starting some sort of mass and carnival stemming all the way to Nigeria, and he produced 2 carnival king costumes. To do that in your lifetime, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And when you to win a king costume, it just tells the extent of how the intricate work and how mesmerizing it is when you see those large costumes parading. It's like one little man probably looks as tall on the screen, and the person looks as tall as your finger, and the entire screen is the costume.
Wow.
And that's usually dragged, by that one person's on wheels. It's an art.
Yeah, I know. We got the same thing here in the Bahamas. We have those large jungle costumes, and guess what? We don't even carry most of them on wheels. Only the humongous ones we carry on wheels. Most of those ones even 10 feet ones, 6-7 feet across, 10 feet tall, and about 6-7 feet wide. Those guys carry them on their shoulders.
Yeah, they carry them. A good bit of it is on their shoulders, but they also have some wheels at each part, so it helps. It helps with gliding. You don't want to put all the pressure on those guys, their shoulders. Republic Bank's one of their group financial managers, Nigel Batiste, his costume, Shabaka's costume this year, I believe.
Okay.
It was really beautiful. Yes, and I honestly thought it was going to win because it told the story of Hyarima, which is an Amerindian that was protective of the flora and fauna in Trinidad.
Okay. So you missed the cultural icon then, Trinidad.
Yes.
Wow.
Seeing those guys dying, and he's in his 60s. Just go.
Yeah, but the space will be made for somebody else new, somebody else to come along. Absolutely.
I mean, we would hope, and this is what Rubadiri Victor was trying to emphasize.
Yeah.
He understands this dying art. The thing is, not much of the younger generation has been willing to really understand, okay, how is it we put together these massive costumes, the wire bending, the tying, the art of it.
Who do you blame that on, Kim? Who do you blame that on? You blame it on the previous generation. They've let these kids grow up without giving them the proper tools and appreciation of what their culture is.
I think it's an entire nation to be blamed. We did not emphasize value on our cultural items or resources. Every year we just see carnival show up and that's it.
Yeah, we took it for granted.
They've created an entire industry. It's just something, a 2-day affair, and actually it's a few months in advance these people plan for. And we've never really seen the value of it. People say, oh, those artists don't make money. And without any real investment in it from the private sector or the government, people aren't going to see value in it. If there's no monetary value, people aren't going to take interest.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But speaking of something else though, Kim, do you believe that that the life is being sucked out of the Caribbean? You know, the energy is being sucked out of the Caribbean where all these cultural affairs, they're dying off on the vine. Do you feel that people are just missing out on their culture and just letting it die on the wayside and from country to country? I feel that here in the Bahamas too, you know, like our culture and the way we do things is just slowly being choked out by other things. I was just talking to a guy who came to fix my car today. I said, you know something? You already know what conch is, right?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. We have a national dish called conch salad, where you chop it up with onions, green peppers, limes, a bit of salt,
Yeah.
and you toss it. That's the conch. That's a traditional conch salad.
Right.
And we have a thing called scorch conch, where it's just the conch and some lime, some salt, and some pepper and some onions. Just scorch up. You don't have to cut it up, right? But now, all of a sudden, we have these different breeds of people here. They're doing tropical conch salad, man. Tropical conch salad. They have mangoes and pineapples and all kind of fruits inside our conch. Yeah, that's not how we do things. That's not what we do. We don't do that. That's not what we do. We don't have no tropical. I don't know about no tropical salad. I was shocked when I went to our fish fry, our arawaki, and someone served me conch salad and asked me if I want a tropical salad. No, hell no, I don't want a tropical salad. No, I want scorched honestly, onions and plenty salt and plenty pepper and plenty onions.
I could honestly see wanting to add mango and pineapple. It adds that flavor. But
yeah, I know, right? I know that's your see, that's Trinidadian culture. That's not Bahamian culture.
Yeah.
You don't have a tropical salad. I ain't grow up with that. I ain't grow up with that.
we would call that we do that as called ceviche, you know, because that's the Peruvian and Chilean thing, right? And that's what we would have adopted. And we have seafood salad. And usually people add pineapple and mangoes and tomato and things like that.
Yeah, that's y'all to do.
But I know that's your cultural dish. Like we saw how they desecrated our doubles at Universal Studios.
they desecrated the doubles.
Yes, they made something looking like a pancake and they called it.
Oh my God! See, now you understand how it feels, right? You understand how it feels. And guess what really hurts me the most? When I go to our fish fry, our arawaki, I see people who are not Bahamians making conch salad. I say, what the hell is this? What is this? What is this? What are we doing? Why can't I get a Bahamian that makes a conch salad in arawaki and the fish fry? Why? Why? And why am I having mangoes and pineapples in my conch salad? I just don't get it. I don't understand it. You know, why see, and we talk about we losing our culture, we losing our way of life, how we do things. This is where it starts, Kim. And you had me arguing about coconut cream cookies the other day. But I'll tell you another thing too, Kim. I realized our culture was dying when I couldn't get a good piece of coconut tart in this country, Kim. You know, they sell this coconut tart with the rollover. You go to bakeries and they have this rolled over dough with the coconut in it. That's not coconut tart. What are you talking about? The coconut tart is a pan coconut tart with the squares in the middle, and the coconut in between each individual square. That's a coconut tart. What the hell is that? That's not no coconut tart. I know about that. I ain't grow up with that. My grandma don't make no coconut tart like that.
I hear you. I mean,
I want to throw it back in their face. You don't give me no coconut tart. Me ask them a coconut tart, you giving this roll. That's not a coconut tart. I was so shocked about 10 years ago. When I really started to see the proliferation of these rolled up doughs called coconut tart. I said, that's not that. My grandma don't make no coconut. My mommy don't make no coconut tart like that. Never in my life have I seen my grandmother roll up a dough and put coconut in the middle of the dough and put that in the baker. Never. She'd die before that happens. And God rest her soul. You know,
that's like me, you know, seeing a Venezuelan selling doubles and they're selling Trini food.
Exactly. And they doing it all wrong, right? Like, what the hell is what are you doing? What are you doing?
I mean, Trinis are open-hearted and it's like, okay, we'll support them. They need some money. Yeah. But it's not local.
No, man. They're desecrating the doubles and they're desecrating the coconut tart. And they're certainly desecrating the conch salad, you know. Putting pineapples and mango in my conch salad.
Doubles is something sacred. You dare not go trying to say anything about doubles or roti or kalaloo or baked sharks.
See, it's a serious issue, isn't it, though, Kim? Right? Tell the truth. It's a serious matter.
But
it could destroy your day.
You find it happening a lot by foreigners in other countries. So like where they see our diaspora, they feel the need to come out and say something because it's a restaurant over there. So when there was a few years ago, there was a Canadian woman that decided to critique our roti the roti, wrap roti that we put the curried chicken, the chana, which is the garbanzo bean, chickpeas, and curried potato. She said, "Oh, a roti." She didn't even say a roti. She said a roti. A roti is 2,000 calories. How is it you can eat 2,000 calories in one sitting?
You cuss her?
The entire population, even Guyana, got on her back. They pulled her off.
That's good for her. Yeah, don't play around here, man. Because it can destroy your day. It can destroy how you think about your country, Kim. It really can destroy you. It mess up your mind. It could.
I mean, you dare not come after a staple meal here in our region. People take pride in their roti. Most of the times, if I do eat an entire roti, I'm not going to eat till the next day.
Oh boy,
because it's so huge. And we're usually full. Man, woman, child, we're not going to eat any. We've got to be really greedy to eat anything beyond that. The most you're going to have is probably a few crackers and a cup of tea. That's late at night. But after eating an entire roti, you'll stuff like we say Macawell syndrome, which is a big boa constrictor in Trinidad. Say we've gotten Macawell syndrome. You've eaten a big kill. And you're going to sleep, going to hibernation, sort of. You ate so much, you're full. It puts you to sleep.
Yeah.
Like a coma.
And she deserved every dirty word that came towards her.
Yeah, I always wanted to hear her response.
She wasn't worth it. She was disqualified from the conversation after with the comment she made, Kim. She was disqualified.
Just saying the word roti, which is roti is spelled R-O-T-I. She basically said R-O-A-D-I-E, roti.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
It reminds me of when I saw a recipe for chicken sauce inside a American cookbook, and the broth was red, and everyone on my Facebook feed just tore into that particular cookbook. And who was promoting it? Say that's not chicken sauce. Chicken sauce ain't red. But what are you talking about? And they're trying to change the way we do things. Chicken sauce is not red. Chicken sauce is a clear broth with chicken.
Broth.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't understand anything. What did they do to make it red?
I don't know, probably put in paprika or whatever,
They think everything is that additional spice out of salt and pepper is paprika. You watch Blue's Clues, Salt and Pepper had a baby called Paprika.
Oh yeah. Oh no, I don't really watch Blue Clues. Sorry about that.
I was a babysitter back in the day, so Blue's Clues was on.
So you were forced to watch it, or do you want to watch it?
I mean, when you're babysitting, you watch these shows and you get interested in it.
Yeah.
Blue's Clues, Teletubbies, the Wiggles, the Wiggleman, the Brothers. Those were the shows. Zubumafu. Yeah.
Yeah, those were last of wholesome television shows.
Children entertainment.
Yeah, everything else now has gotten really, really vulgar. And I don't like the way it's turned,
I don't like even Peppa Pig. This Peppa Pig thing is very rude and disrespectful to adults.
Yeah, she is. And they have another one called Phineas and Herb, I think.
Yeah, Phineas and Herb came out about more than 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It's not so bad, I think. I mean, I've taken in a few, but it's more for the more grown children.
Yeah.
That's not babysitting stuff.
Yeah, no one should be watching Adult Swim and Cartoon Network either.
Yeah.
No child under 15, I should say, should be watching the Adult Swim. Yeah, I was shocked one time when I turned into Adult Swim and I found what was on that, man.
I was always taken aback that I would go to school and these guys would be coming and talking about South Park.
Yeah.
And South Park was so rude. And then I got to find out that the characters were actually preschoolers and they're so rude.
Exactly. Cartman. I when South Park first came out, I enjoyed the show. It was something different, right? But after a while, after you see the same gimmick and the same cartoon characters, it got kind of old. I mean, come on. You grow up.
They mocked everything. They parodied and mocked everything under the sun.
You grow up after a while, and it isn't funny anymore. So
Family Man is not too far from it as well, and I've always been disgusted by Family Man.
I'm surprised Seth Rollins is kept. Not Seth Rollins is his name, right?
Seth
MacFarlane.
Seth MacFarlane. Yeah, I think it's MacFarlane. One of those.
Yeah. I'm surprised he kept that show going so long with all those different characters, man.
It's disgusting.
I know.
Dog and baby. God.
Yeah. And they introduced me to 2 Girls, 1 Cup.
What's that?
They introduced me to that viral video, 2 Girls, 1 Cup.
Okay.
I didn't know about that until I
I
had to.
don't.
Yeah, trust me. I'm sorry I brought it up, right? But
Right.
yeah, I still get my jollies out of it every now and then. Every now and then, Stewie is good for a chuckle.
Yes, I know men have a tendency to enjoy those jokes. I'm not into it so much.
Yeah, yeah, women are different, man. Yeah, did you go and see Bobby?
It has not come out yet. They say it's coming out on 21st, but I have intentions of watching it because I
Okay.
would have grown up playing with Barbies. I had Skipper and all the different Barbies.
Hmm. I can imagine. I
Yeah.
can imagine. So that's your kind of thing, right?
I mean, it's like something childhood fantasies. You're living out something of your childhood in a fantasy world in a sort of way, right?
Mhm.
Because you imagine Barbie world and Barbie having everything and perfect hair, perfect outfit. I used to beg my mom to go and buy the clothes because you could change the outfits.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
Do
I
you,
would
do
do
you
those.
think it was damaging to young women, considering they were giving this false idea of what an attractive woman would look like through Bobby?
Yes,
Yeah,
definitely. Definitely, definitely. Everyone wanted to look like Barbie, wanted to have that slim waist, wanted
yeah,
to have, tall legs and be able
yes,
to look
yes,
that
yes.
way.
Bobby dolls.
Be
It's very
fashionable
versatile.
and stylish.
I liken it to a typical white propaganda, to be honest with you.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
these little subtle
definitely.
things they do. This is subtle things that their propaganda machine does.
I
They have
know back
picture.
in 1988, I think that I remember seeing the Black Barbie, which was, I think,
Yeah,
Whitney
yeah.
come out, and I was taken up with the Black Barbie.
Hmm.
I never saw it's been a while. I saw an Indian Barbie, and they
Really?
tried to dress her like in a sari, and like, okay, why they have to culturalize,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's more insulting, isn't it? Right? When they try to
yeah.
culturalize it. Yeah.
But
Okay.
it was a toy.
Hmm.
Playing with dolls back then was something. I mean, I was a girly girl. I played with dolls. I played with stuffed animals. I still have this fascination. If I walk into a toy store, I'm going to the stuffed animal section first.
Ah, Lord. My mom still loves stuffed animals. She calls them her babies.
Yeah, I still have all my stuffed animals on my teenage bed, my
Hmm.
parents' home,
Hmm.
and they occupy my attention still
You
sometimes.
talk to them?
Oh, when I was a child, yes, I mean, even as an adult, when I was in university and I was taken into the hospital,
Hmm. You talk to your stuffed animals?
and when I was taken to the hospital, I told my parents, please bring me my Garfield,
Oh, Lord.
and because I was a good distance away from home,
Hmm.
and it brought me some kind of comfort.
Was it the medication talking? Did you really miss your Garfield?
I just wanted something from home,
Hmm.
and I think that's what it did for me. Even when I traveled, I took a stuffed animal with me.
Hmm. I got you. I got you.
But yeah,
Yeah. Well, sorry to switch the conversation, but speaking of drugs, right? Has fentanyl hit Trinidad as yet?
I don't think it ever what did.
Hmm. Okay, because we
Don't
had
think
6 overdoses in the last 3 years, apparently here in the Bahamas. So fentanyl has made it here, and people are overdosing.
no, no. Those kinds of drugs are very restricted in Trinidad.
But so is cocaine, man. I mean, come on, cocaine.
No, I mean in Trinidad, no.
Hmm.
Our Bureau of Standards is very strict on allowing certain drugs.
Hmm.
I don't think it was something legal, and our doctors would not have allowed it.
Yeah,
Our
you could
doctors
smuggle
are
it.
very strict when it comes to these kinds of medication. Even I did post surgery,
Hmm.
and the medication that you're taking is very limited, and you're allowed to only get with prescription only.
We're
We're
talking about
very
smuggling
strict
stuff.
with it. What's that?
We're talking about smuggling stuff, though. I mean, who
No,
cares about prescription when you
you
could
you
smuggle
you can't
things?
you can't bring that in anyway. They will pick you up very fast.
So how's
So
all the other drugs getting through the Caribbean then?
I mean, cocaine is something else,
Hmm.
but when it comes to something like that, no, we have not had that issue.
Hmm.
Our medical associations have not really had that problem here.
Hmm. All right, fentanyl is so strong that you can't even touch it with your skin. You could get a high from this from just touching it with your skin. You really
I
can't
I
detect it.
actually had relatives abroad that took it and they got bad liver damage and
Uh,
addicted really bad until they died.
why are human beings doing this to themselves, man? I saw a video of a street vlogger of a street in Philadelphia, and the people were just standing there out of their mind. Just like people are just out of it, Kim. Why are people doing this to themselves? What is so missing from your life that you have to be in such a daze all day, every day?
I think some people are probably afraid of dealing with the pains and reality of their lives. So that's
Such a
but,
shame. Such a shame that there's so much trauma and there's so much hurt and being inflicted upon you that you have to medicate yourself to such an extent.
yeah.
You know? It's amazing, man.
And some people can't tolerate physical pain. I know the post-surgery medication, I really couldn't handle some pain, and I begged my doctor, please give me like, okay, I'll give you this much. And I probably was on it for like 2 years.
But you asked for morphine?
No, Panadine F. It's
okay.
If you ever took Panadine F, you can't drive. You're inebriated. You basically have to just knock out and sleep for 2 days.
Panadine F. That sounds pretty good, Kim.
It is. I mean, post surgery, you're not gonna feel that. It helped with a good. I got some post surgery. It helped with pain, real bad pain.
Okay. Well, yeah, we gotta be careful. Just putting you guys on notice. If you ever seen, if it starts to creep down to the other Caribbean, that fentanyl creeping. That people are wanting it.
I guess if it has to come true that way, but I haven't had that problem. I think I spoke about this when we spoke about my lupus drugs, that even my doctor was trying to get some certain medication, the biologics, into the country to treat us. And I'm seeing more developments with pepto-amino acids being quite helpful for lupus patients. But our Bureau of Standards has not been too positive on allowing these things to come in. What you have to, with these drugs, it's kind of like chemo. So you get it and it's being infused in your blood through IV drips.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure why.
That's what happened to Michael Jackson and Prince. They were injecting it, Well, the Prince did it himself, but Michael Jackson's doctor, now we found out, he was administering this to fentanyl to Michael Jackson, and caused two great minds to go and leave us, man.
Most of these lupus drugs, at least in my research in America, from the Lupus Association, that you have to get it administered usually in a clinic. All right, it's not just any doctor can give it to you. It's like getting chemo. You have to go to a clinic in order to get it.
Yeah. Indeed. So you just gotta be mindful, Kimmy. Just be watchful. So I mean, it's 9:27 actually. We might as well start cutting ties here. So any other final thoughts, Kim?
Happy hump day.
Hump day.
That's the week. We're halfway through the year, and it's flying by so fast.
I know, right? But guess what? My hump day was brutal. My hump day, this is the most Monday, Wednesday I've ever had.
Monday, Wednesday,
This is the most Monday, Wednesday I've ever had. I had 2 flat tires and my bumper was coming off. Trust me, I had a rough day, and I dropped the jack on trying to change the front tire. So the jack fell 4 times, came 4 times. I had to call roadside service, man. It was a brutal day. My entire day was wasted from about.
I see the hat looks like it got some hits too.
Oh no, this is the damage from the Harbor Island trip. Actually, I got watch this.
Some good sea blast. It looked like it endured the sea blast on the weekend.
Man, I have fun. Since I came back from that trip, I've been so relaxed. I've been feeling so good about myself, Kim. I should do that more often. Actually, I'm going to go to another family island soon. But yeah, I enjoyed that trip. Oh my goodness, I saw the stink.
I really need a beach day soon to help me feel better. Yes. Usually they say a beach day helps, but right now we're having really bad weather, and I think our National Hurricane Center is monitoring another tropical wave that could develop. It says it has about a 40% chance, I think, of developing.
Yeah, it's out there in the northern Atlantic, right?
Yeah.
I see it.
A few hundred miles of Cape Verde, I think.
Yeah. Well, I want to remind you of something else too, Kim, though. Apparently we are getting advisories about the Saharan dust here in the Bahamas.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's going to reach all the way to North America, and from tomorrow it's going to be really bad. So we've got new warnings, and from Trinidad all the way up to North America has been briefed about how bad it's going to be.
Wow, Kim, that's the first time we've been notified of Saharan dust. So
You're going to see it if you look at the distance. If you look like a few meters away from you, a few feet, you will see a distance. You will see how hazy it looks. If the sky looks hazy, you swear it's going to rain, but it's usually, the Saharan dust suspended in the air.
Oh wow! So what do you have to worry? What do you have to worry about personally when dealing with Saharan dust?
Your allergies. It can affect your eyes, and it affects your respiratory system for sure.
Okay.
So you see a lot of sneezing happening. People might think you've got COVID with a lot of sneezing and coughing. You get watery eyes. I've had the instance where it was really bad and it caused allergies in my eyes, and I had to go to the optometrist, the ophthalmologist, to get particular allergy drops for my eyes, because the average over-the-counter drops aren't going to help you.
Wow, that sounds very. And I have asthma, Kim, so that's
yeah.
Gonna be
so as they usually, when Saharan dust is that prevalent, or Met Services usually puts out an advisory to those with respiratory ailments and asthma to be on the alert, to keep your inhaler on hand, stay indoors as much as possible, and use your air conditioning units.
Wow. Okay.
Use an air filter.
I find it amazing that Saharan dust is traveling all the way across the Atlantic,
Yeah, I mean, it reaches as far as Europe, people in Spain have experienced Saharan dust.
Wow. So Kim, I mean, all right, that's a wrap, Kim. Thank you so much for joining us. So thank you everyone for joining us again for another LimeVibe Live podcast. I'm your host, Yori Kemp, joined by the beautiful Miss Kimberly Ramkalawan. We are glad to have her as always. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our Facebook and YouTube page. Please like, share, and subscribe to our Facebook and YouTube page, LimeVibe 77 on Facebook and YouTube. Please like, share, and subscribe. It really helps us to build this community. We're still growing and we're still getting there. We're going to start doing some advertisements soon but sure. We're going to start doing some advertisements. You're going to see a lot more of our flyers going out there to get more subscribers into the show. So please, and don't forget also, there's a donate link inside the description. So please, anything that moves your heart to give to the LimeVibe Live podcast, please do so. This is Yori Kemp signing off for the LimeVibe Live. Good night. We'll be back again on Friday, God willing.